Good morning. Bless you for being here this morning. Oh, Jen, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, hope all is going well with you and your family too. Yeah, but it's like my comments over here. I tend to fixate on these comments. It's really awful, but anyway, they tend to be sluggish, and I get frustrated. But yeah, Jen, we're going to be talking about dirt this morning. So I hope you can add some to it, just type away in the comments. Ah, oh, you're walking. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It is beautiful. It's a beautiful morning, too. It's a beautiful morning. So I wonder where you walk. I mean, it's a great neighborhood to walk, but I'm wondering if there's some other place where you like to do you get in the car and go somewhere or um, Yes, exactly. It is soil, not just dirt. Yeah. I guess so. So dirt would be the more humble word, right? So we'll give folks a couple more minutes to join us. Hopefully they will. Breckenridge. Yeah. Yeah. Is that in North Garland? Breckenridge? So this is not helping your walk having to type in the comments, but yeah, I can figure out where that is. So yeah, we got a couple more minutes and we'll get started at 8. Um, you know, I hope some more folks find us. I know that we've got a couple of our regulars are back on crossing guard duty, and so they are busy this morning. Oh, we've had a couple more log on. Good morning, bless you. I hope you're doing well today. I'm glad you're here. We'll get started in another minute. Breckenridge, it's in Richardson. Okay, I see. Hey, Dave, good morning. Bless you. Glad you're here this morning. Yeah. And so, yeah, we just got another minute and we'll get started. We'll breathe together a little bit. And yeah, I was telling Jen we're going to talk about dirt today or soil. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's 8 o'clock. Um, Good morning to you. I'm so glad you're here. Um, so, as we begin, good morning, Ann. Bless you. So glad you're here. Um, let's just begin by taking a couple of breaths together. So sit sit up straight but not rigid, comfortably, have that um, uh, soft front and upright back. So let's breathe in and out and in and out. knowing and trusting that the Spirit is as close as our own breathing with every breath and every minute of our lives. Um, so, in my reading in the last couple of weeks, I came across an interesting cluster of words that I've been stewing about for at least the last week. And one of those words, or actually two related words, one which could be a noun or a verb, humble, and then its related form, humility. And thinking about what those words mean. And those are words that actually are a big part of a lot of spiritual and religious traditions, not just specific to Christianity. Um, but what does it mean to be humble? We run across that word in a lot of worship music, um, but as we travel through our days and our culture and everything, there's not a whole lot of humbleness or humility that's in evidence, um, which makes it all the more striking when we do run into a person who seems to be exhibiting humility, and how we run across that. That it's kind of, I don't know, it just settles into me, and I kind of take it with me through the day, like if I'm in the grocery store, and just a simple act of, um, of someone saying, "Oh, excuse me, you first," and especially not being able to read the bottom half of people's faces these days, because the great majority of us are wearing masks, um, which, come to think of it, can be a sign of humility, right? Um, Stepping back from one's own self, uh, in service and in regard for the greater good and the greater community. That's an interesting connection, for me. But um, one of my teachers, spiritual teachers over the last few years, has really kind of set the word humble aside. And he said, "What does it mean to humble yourself? Because if you humble yourself, you're actually doing the opposite of what being humble is about, right?" Um, so there is another interesting connection that I came across in my reading, and I believe this was actually in a book I'm reading by Joan Chittister, who is a Benedictine. And it's the word humble and the word humility, which are related to the word humus. Um, Good morning, Glenn. I'm so glad you're here. Bless you. Um, Humus, soil. Um, I don't know exactly what the Latin word is, but I'm pretty sure that there's a connection back there somewhere, going back maybe through Middle English or Middle French into the Latin. Um, but I did spend a little bit of time um, looking up the word humble, and it is related to the word humus, and they have the common Latin root is lowly or on the ground. And then let's throw another word into this: human. Humble, humility, humus, and human. And it takes us right back to the origin story in Genesis 2, um, right at the beginning of the Hebrew Bible, where in the second creation story, God is uh, you know, creating creating things, and the imagery is of God as a potter. That's the verb that's used, is what potters do. And, God makes all these animals after God has made um, actually the dirt creature, the first human. And it's a play on words in Hebrew. Um, the Adam, or the dirt creature, comes from the Adamah, comes from the dirt or the earth or the ground, or as Jenny has reminded me, the soil. Um, and so, there's this ancient understanding that we arise out of the ground, and that there's somehow this God created stuff, this mystery that's within that. Um, and so that actually, perhaps, the state of humility, or being humble, quote unquote, humbling oneself, is actually remembering our origins, that we come from the ground and we return to the ground, but that there's divine activity within that. Um, the I remember the song by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. We are stardust, and actually science has shown that out of the Big Bang, that actually swirls within our very being, in addition to being from the ground. And as a person of faith, only God could pull off something like that, right? Wed within these bodies that we have, wed stardust and earth. Um, but oh, good morning, Janice. I'm so glad you're here. Good morning, Brandy. Good morning, Lloyd. Bless y'all. I'm so glad you're with us. So in in coming to close this off here in just a couple of minutes, um, thinking about humanity and humility and humus and a little bit of God's mystery swirled into all of this. I remember reading a couple years ago Robin Wall Kimmerer, and some of y'all have heard me mention her book, Braiding Sweetgrass, which is just a stunning, beautifully written book. She is indigenous. She's a citizen Potawatomi, and she's also a scientist. She's an ethnobotanist, and she talks a lot about humus and about the beauty of the life that exists within just a teaspoon of humus. And she says, in the very few remaining healthy ecosystems that have been undisturbed um, in our country, she said, um, when you come across a place like that there is mystery that is imbued in these places that just rises up out of the ground, and that the humus is teeming with life, and that you can actually eat it with a teaspoon. That's an interesting thought. Um, but isn't that what God is about? It's just life teeming over, um, within the soil, within our own selves, within our cosmos, and remembering the mystery that exists within us and without us is actually returning us to a state and a stance of humility as humans who bear within us God's image. Good morning, Josh. I'm so glad you're here. Um, so maybe we can take that with us today. This collection of words to be human, to live in a state of humility by remembering the humus from which we were created, with divine mystery thrown into that. I'm just amazed at how our God brings life about. And I hope you can take some of that amazement with you today. So as we close off, let's take a couple of deep breaths together, remembering whose we are, from whom we came, and the spirit that is as close as our own breath. So let us breathe. You are a blessing. I'm so glad that we joined together this morning. And for those who joined throughout the day, blessings on your day. And I'm so glad that you took some time to breathe and nurture your soul. Peace be with you.